feel like I've been sentenced to prison for life because it really took my life away.
I am not able to renew my license due to this amount until I have rectified the amount with the district. I can't get a car. I can't drive a car because MPD could pull me over and put me in jail and take my kids for driving without a license. Every day taking my daughter to daycare is beyond unreal. Like me having to catch 3 buses. So I've had to do that like in the freezing rain and like bitterly cold temperatures or like extremely hot. I am really working diligently to getting into medical school. I would love to do that so much. I think me having reliable transportation would just make this road to success a lot easier for my children and I.
And by taking the car, they took my home. They took my way of getting back and forth to work.
I received 4 tickets, $400 tickets.
Haram, who takes care of her disabled mother, says without a license, she's forced to use her limited Social Security income to pay others to drive her.
Our report, joined by a coalition of 30 plus other civil rights, faith-based consumer protection, and justice advocacy organizations, addresses this specific question about the Clean Hands Law. Under DC current law, driving without a valid license is a criminal misdemeanor punishable by up to a year in jail and a fine of $2,500. And since the Clean Hands Law deprives residents of their licenses based on debt to the government alone, and without permitting any inquiry into the person's ability to pay, the law disproportionately exposes residents who need to drive to get to work, to buy groceries, to access childcare, to go to the doctor.
What Ariel is doing at his not-for-profit is extraordinary. I think his last point is really powerful. DC leads the country in fines. These fines are disproportionately heaped on our most vulnerable residents. That's one area that we can change, and we have the power to change literally tomorrow, and we should do so.
I said, well, I don't have that type of money, to pay that. So he said, well, okay, well, you don't have to sign it, but we're going to send the marshals. So we're going to make sure that you don't have anything. At that point in time, when I was on the phone, I was actually thinking about shelters because I was like, where I'm going to stay. Like, I was about to lose everything, so.
Our clients, because they don't have a lot of resources, are already pretty vulnerable to frauds and scams because they don't have the money to lose. Folks often don't know that there is law to help them and to protect them.
I owe nothing.
%25 of our clients are disabled, and people with lower incomes are more likely to be disabled, and people who are disabled are more likely to have lower incomes. And generally, the disabled community is disproportionately affected by debt. It's one thing to be able to represent folks, but it's another to actually be able to change the law. And Tzedek DC does both of those things.
I work primarily with the Sin Deudas Sin Dudas project, which means without debts, without doubt. So we essentially do the same services that we would do for the general community, but we try to do it in a culturally competent way in the Spanish-speaking community or the Latinx community. So we do provide direct legal services to that community, and we provide advice and services in Spanish.
I hope it happens. I pray that it happens.
I just want to thank you for the time, for this, to express what happened to me in DC.
Debt collection moratorium has been a pause on all debt collection cases from the beginning of the pandemic around the spring of 2020 through this September 2021. So for over a year, there have been no debt collection lawsuits filed against individuals. That was a really great policy success because of Tzedek DC and coalition partners, for sure. Yeah, it was something we really pushed for, and the debt collection moratorium is something that Tzedek DC is proud of, and definitely something that Tzedek DC worked really hard on and was important for. That moratorium is coming to an end, and it will end at the end of September. And so when that ends and the cases are filed again, we expect that there will be a tidal wave of these lawsuits against individuals who may not have, gotten their jobs back, who may still be taking care of that sick family member or a child that they had in the pandemic. And so what we're working toward now is a protective reopening that's both protective at the court and so that the court takes equity and fairness, but also health and safety into account, and is also protective under the law so that consumers have better protections and better rights when there are these filing debt collection cases or when debt collectors call.
Tzedek is this beautiful word from the Torah, the Old Testament, and the book of Deuteronomy. And the phrase goes, Tzedek, Tzedek tirdof. Justice, justice, shall you, and that means all of us, shall you pursue.